Hello, my name is Nancy Bowne, and today we're going to interview singer-songwriter Candice Lee and Kxa. Welcome to the set, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So our first question today will be about basically how did you start your music careers?
Well, I've been singing ever since I could speak, basically. Music is just a big part of me. I started playing guitar when I was 6. Started writing songs since I was young too, and kind of just kept going at it.
Yeah, so I have a pretty similar story to her. I'm like not instrument musically inclined at all, but I always had like a really big interest in electronic music as far back as I can remember. I really started getting into it when I was in middle school, and I started listening to like hardstyle and house music. And then once I got to high school, I was like, this is really cool, like I want to start like doing this myself. And then I kind of just watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials, kind of got a couple of mentors online who are like big producers, and they kind of taught me like what they knew. Just kind of took off from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how do you feel social media has benefited the music industry today? Like how do you promote your music and whatnot?
Social media is huge. I started a music Instagram account I think when I was about 12, after months of begging my mom to let me get one. And I started it because I was about to release an EP, so I wanted a platform to promote that. And then I created #MusicMonday, where I post a cover every week, and I'm still doing it to this day. And I just received a lot of positive feedback from it, and that kind of motivated me to keep going. I think social media is a great way to stay connected with fans and followers, and I'm always trying to stay engaged with everyone. My Instagram is at Candice Lee Music. I have over 36,000 followers just from posting consistently, and yeah, it's a great way to promote my music, and not only the covers that I post, but the original music that I put out, like the song that we just released.
Nice.
So I actually had a Instagram before I had any sort of streaming, like music streaming platform account. So that was before SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, anything like that. So when I first started, like, you know, putting together like original tracks, I used to like promote them and, you know, put like popular hashtags on them, trying to get anybody out there to listen to them. And made some pretty good connections on Instagram. I was involved in like a couple of like pretty popular like group chats for like producers to share knowledge and like feedback on tracks. But just going off of what Candice says, I think it's like an excellent way just to, you know, stay in touch with your audience, and definitely like replying to like every single comment, letting everyone know that like I'm a real person, you know, if you comment, like I'm going to reply, like, you know, I appreciate like your support, all that stuff. Just a great way to, you know, stay engaged with your audience for sure.
Right. So tell us about your new single, Feel the Same.
Okay, cool. So this track was like many months in the making. I can't even remember when we started like talking about making a song together. It must have been back in like August.
Yeah.
And the first thing I sent her was like, she wrote to it, and then I was like, I don't want to do anything with that track anymore. So I made like another version, completely like different BPM, tempo. It was pretty sure it was a different key as well. And so I sent that over to her. She like wrote more to it, and then I scrapped that again. So I was like, I don't want that either. And I think we went through like 4 different versions.
Right.
And so we finally agreed on one version that I like, the final one that I made. And I sent that over to her, and she loved it. She wrote like some incredible lyrics over it, like really amazing melodies. And then the whole process after, like she sent me the recorded version of her vocals. Probably like another like month or 2 after that is when it was officially finished. Then we spent like a solid month of like planning, of like marketing and playlisting and whatnot.
Planning the release.
Yeah, exactly. Just to make sure, you know, when release day came, we're prepared, and everything just went like seamlessly.
Yeah, like he said, he sent me the track, and then I wrote lyrics and a melody to it. And it was just inspired by personal experiences and observations of other experiences, of other people's experiences. And it's just about wondering if you're on the same page as someone in a relationship, whether it's in terms of feelings, attraction, and or values.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So my big inspiration behind like the instrumental side of the song was 2 of my favorite producers and writers, Illenium and Griffin. Not sure if you've ever heard of them, but they're pretty big in like the electronic kind of pop music world, and that's where I want to take my music and like in a similar direction as what theirs are now.
Right.
So that's kind of where I got inspiration for our song.
Was this your first project together?
It
Yeah.
was,
Oh,
yep.
nice.
And we have definitely many more in the future
Yeah.
planned.
Oh,
Yeah.
so what's some advice that you'd give to aspiring songwriters or music producers?
My advice would be to just write down everything that you think of, or everything that you're feeling. A lot of my songs come from just like random notes that I write on my phone, and then I just like put it all together. Or sometimes I'll take like little voice memos of melodies that I hear in my head or something. But like everyone's songwriting process is different, and like that's a good thing.
Right. So the way I kind of looked at it is getting a mentor was extremely important to me, just because obviously like they teach you all of their knowledge, but you can always go back to them for questions and advice on how you do this and that. And obviously like the feedback they provide is like priceless.
Right.
And so obviously like the cliche thing is like, just, keep pushing, if you believe in something, do it. Like obviously that's obviously very important. But for me, finding a mentor who was able to just, be with me like through the entire way was definitely something that definitely kind of like put me to where I am now.
How would you suggest finding those mentors? and,
Yeah,
like, the
so it
networking?
was definitely a process for me. It kind of randomly happened. So way back when I was in high school, when I first started like producing original music, I was in a music collective on SoundCloud. So basically it was just like a bunch of producers who just kind of like were in a group chat together on Facebook Messenger and just shared, tracks back and forth and just feedback overall. And so there was a couple of like pretty experienced and like well-known, accomplished producers in there. And so anytime I had a question about anything, I would always, just reach out to them. But in terms of like trying to find like music collectives and just mentors overall, is just try to find someone who's bigger than you, but not too big to the point where they're like unreachable, but just enough to where you could get a response out of them, and just be like as open and friendly as possible. It's like, hey, I really appreciate your music. I really want to take my music in the direction that yours is in. Do you have any like advice or anything like that?
Now, Candice, you also play harp, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So tell us how you got involved with harp.
Okay, so it's kind of a funny story. There was a grout guy working in my house, and he was telling my mom about his daughter who played the harp. And her harp teacher happened to live in the town right next to mine. So I was like, that's a really cool opportunity, like to have a harp teacher like right nearby. So we rented a harp to start with, and then I took some lessons, and I ended up loving it. So then just went from there. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's really fun, and I like to incorporate it into pop music too. Like I started with classical training, but I like to do like pop covers on it and originals.
That's pretty cool. Do you feel as though it's like, since it's such a classical instrument, how is it like bringing it into like the electronic pop scene?
Yeah, no, like I said, I think it's really cool to like merge the two. Yeah, I like singing with it too.
Right.
And, yeah.
Nice. And I guess, what's like some inspiration when you write songs, and like where do you look for in like the headspace and like the sound? Like where do you go to explore that?
Sometimes it's like really random. Sometimes I'll just get like bursts of inspiration like out of nowhere, and then I'm like, I have to write right now, and I like stop everything I'm doing and I just go write. And just like play the guitar and like sing, and yeah, I mean, especially if like things happen in my life that I feel like could turn into a good song, like I'll just start writing about that. Just kind of whatever comes to my mind, super random, but
Cool.
you know.
I think that's it for the questions now. Is there anything else that you'd both like to add?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're looking forward to hearing you guys play.
Thank you.